You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
And before we get into our Training Thursday show, I want to let you know that this week we are letting you know, keeping you up to date with the Dr. Cabral Detox, and we are now able to ship to the UK and Canada. This allows us to reach so many more people, which was our goal in 2016, we used the Dr. Cabral Detox basically for 3 years before anyone else knew about it. We only used it in our Boston practices in both our weight loss center as well as our wellness center. And it was great because we got to introduce it to hundreds and hundreds of people. But now we want to basically do what we do and how many people we've been able to help in Boston and now reach people all over the world. So for now, we're able to ship to the US, we're able to ship to the UK, and we're able to ship to Canada. In the future, we hope to reach many, many more countries. Thank you for allowing me to let you know about that. And now let's get into our Training Thursday. So Training Thursday, we're going to be talking about every single week how you can take your exercise program to that next level. And what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about the things that most people don't know about. The things that you just say, okay, I need to do how many sets of this exercise, how many sets of that. No, we're trying to take it to another level, meaning like we want to answer the questions that come up on an everyday pattern that we see people in our practice and also email in. So for example, today's topic, we're going over how often should you work your abs? Now there's a lot of controversy over this, meaning like some people say you should work them every day because they recover so quickly. Some people say just train them once a week like you would any other muscle group. And then there's everyone in between, of course. So let's get into it. Let's get a little bit into the science. So we want to look at the abdominal muscles as a little bit different than just your biceps or your chest muscles or even your leg muscles. They're a smaller group of muscles. When we look at your abdominals, what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about most people think of it as this. They think of the rectus abdominis. So the rectus abdominis are those essentially 8 abdominal muscles that you can see. You need the top 6, the six-pack that everybody talks about, and then the 2 lower ones around the belly button and below. Now, that's what people think of as the abdominal muscles. But the truth is, and the fact of the matter is, those are just one small subsection of your abs. And it's actually a very thin sheath, often called the rectus sheath. And when you look at that, you're saying, it's really not that much muscle to work. So what are we really talking about? Well, we're talking about all the other parts of your waist that give it that small, tight look, and also the definition. So one thing that people mistake just for ab muscles are the muscles under the armpit, right beside the abdominal muscles, and those kind of like those little bumps underneath when you're really defined, those are called the serratus anterior muscles. And those aren't even really worked by doing abs that much. They're actually worked by doing rows and different motions like that help work all of those muscles under there. Now, the other muscles that don't get enough play, we'll say, are the transverse abdominis. Now, the transverse abdominis are the group of muscles below the rectus abdominis. Remember, the rectus abdominis, think of that as your six-pack. So they're under that, meaning like they're the ones that you don't get to see, but that cinch your waist nice and tight. So they give you that small, tight waist. It's almost like your internal weight belt, and those fibers actually run side to side across the waist. And in my opinion, these are very important to work, maybe the most important. And the reason for that is simple. It's going to keep your back strong, going to keep your back safe, and it's going to give you that smaller, tighter waist. The icing on the cake that we'll get at the end is really just the abdominal sheath, the rectus sheath. And that is we use at the end of the workout. So I'm going to get into the whole program of what you need to do in just a moment. So let's talk about just a few other parts of your abs, and those the what we call the love handles, right? Well, below those love handles on the side of your waist, above those hip bones, are called your obliques, okay? So your obliques, you have both internal and external obliques. I'm not going to get into what they're used for, how to use them, but they're used a lot in rotational-based movements. So that's why you can start to see we don't want to just do crunches. That's not going to work your entire abdominal wall. We also want to do some rotational work or anti-rotation. And then, you know those lines that you see people have right beside their hips kind of going down into the groin? There's one line on each side, kind of at a diagonal. Well, it's right above your iliac crest, and those are called your inguinal canal or your inguinal cleft. And those lines are there when you get really good definition, but also very strong oblique and abdominal muscles. So now let's answer the question. Now you know a little bit about your abs, that it's not that simple, right? It's not just those six-pack abs that you see. There's a lot of different layers to your abs, and the great thing about that is they make your waist smaller and tighter as you work those better and better, and they also keep your back and your lower spine safer. So how many times a week should you work your abs? Well, very simple. Don't even worry about doing straight crunches or straight abdominal work until you're about 15 pounds away from your goal weight, 20 at the most. And I'm going to explain why right now. To even get to see the abs, what's underneath there, you're going to need to do your big movements. You're going to need to do your presses, your pulls, your rows that I was just talking about for your anterior serratus muscles, your serratus anterior muscles. You're going to need to do squats and deadlifts and lunges and step-ups to build your metabolism, because your legs are where the majority of your muscle is. Over 2/3 of the muscle in your body is in your legs. If you're not, now, and running doesn't count, I've already explained this before. If you're not working your legs every time you work out, or at least 2 to 3 times a week, and again, doesn't have to be till failure, then you're not properly boosting your metabolism. That's so vitally important. And that is how we're able to get clients much better results through their workouts, is we're doing great total body workouts, and we're doing a lot of the exercises that boost that metabolism. Okay. So you've done those exercises, you say, now you're within 15 or so pounds of your goal weight. Now it's time to turn it up a notch. This is when we can start introducing some abdominal-based crunches, some oblique work, some bridging, some Supermans, more specific things that would be used for the entire core, because we never do abdominal activation work, no abdominal crunching or anything like that, without also doing its partner exercise, which is a Superman or a bridge or anything that's going to work those lower back muscles, the rectus spinae muscles on your lower back as well. And how many times a week do I recommend? Well, I recommend 3 times per week at the most. That's really all you need. That allows you to do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday ab workout. And your abs should only come at the end of your workout. There is no need to fatigue those muscles at the beginning of your workout or even during your workout. And the reason is very simple. You can't have your abs be fatigued when you're trying to do your major lifts like a squat, a deadlift, a step up, a lunge, or a press or a lat pull down. Anyone who's ever tried to do even like a lat pull down or pull up with sore abs from like a workout the day before knows how much those muscles are actually involved in that exercise. So my advice is wait till the end of your workout, because they're really, your abdominal muscles are a support-based muscle. They're kind of like an arm-based exercise. Do them at the end of your workout, and you can train them every other day if you would like. At the most, really just 3 times a week. I say you don't really need to do more than 1 to 2 exercises at the end of each one of those workouts to get the results you're looking for. Because keep in mind that during your workout, if you're doing the standing-based movements that I talk about and that I preach all of the time, your abdominal muscles, your core is being worked the whole time. If you're doing the chops that I've talked about before, your abs are working the whole time. Those transverse abdominal muscles are working the whole time. That is what's going to get you that small, tight waist. We use this with all of our athletes, all of our celebrities, all of our women after giving birth. Literally, every person that comes into our practice gets that same exact thing, because it's the absolute best results. So whether you're trying to fine-tune your program or just rebuild that abdominal wall after giving birth, all of these things are extremely important to pay attention to. That means big exercises first, and then once all of those transverse abdominis muscles, all of those smaller, deeper muscles have gotten stronger, then you can start with the actual crunching or sit-ups or those specific things. And again, use the methods that I've taught you before. Don't round the chin, don't round the back, all of those other type of movements. And if you do that, you're going to see much better results. So let me do a quick recap. Use the big exercises first. boost your metabolism, get to down to about 15 pounds away from your goal weight. Remember, you only need about 6 to 12 weeks of direct ab work to really fine tune your abs, really get them to pop a little bit. And that's the icing on the cake. So they come out really fast. It's a thin layer because we're talking about the rectus abdominis on top, and you only need to be about 6 to 12 weeks out. If you're losing, let's say, 1 pound to 2 pounds a week for 6 weeks, well, then there you are. You're right at about your 10 to 15 pound mark, and you'll be all set to go whenever you need to get them to show, be at your absolute best. So that's my advice. Please do act on it. It's great to hear all these good recommendations. It's even better to put them into practice. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into another Cabral Concept.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stephencabral.com/courses.